Welcome to My Daily Thread. It's a great little place to get a snippet of wisdom from the yoga and the meditation masters to start or to end your day. I'm Jeff Lichty. All right, my friends, welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast. Looking for a snippet of wisdom from the Patañjali Yoga Sūtras, from Patañjali.sage, from 200 CE. We also are looking for a replacement word for snippet, which may or may not be replaced, but we're entertaining it for sure, entertaining it. So send me your best word for a replacement of snippet, talking about the wisdom that we want to grab out of this podcast. And Pete and I will talk about it, we'll look at it, and we will decide who we're going to send some swag to. Now, moving right along, chapter 2, verse 10. We have been doing so much work with the kleshas. Those are those afflictions that are deeply embedded in us. As Sir Edwin Bryant says, the 5 kleshas are lodged in the mind. Well, I'm not normally one to disagree with Sir Edwin, but on this point I'm going to, because the 5 kleshas, to me, I don't like that he says it's in the mind. It is in the mind stuff, which includes the mind. It includes the sum total of the citta, if you ask me, which is the mind and the ego and the intellect, all wrapped up together. And that's where the kleshas are found. That's where they're lodged. That's where they're embedded. And verse 10, which is what we're talking about now, te pratip heya sukshma. The words aren't that difficult, but the concept to me has been a little bit tricky for me to wrap my head around. Te it's just referring back to the 5 kleshas. Pratiprasava means return to the original state, and heya sukshma, heya just means they're eliminated. So the kleshas are eliminated and they're returned to the original state. Sukshma means that they're subtle. So these kleshas are very subtle. Okay, well, we get that. We go back to Edwin Bryant, who says the 5 kleshas are lodged in the mind. I'm going to add mind stuff. A lot of the commentators don't say too much about this. They just give the definition. They say they're subtle, and when they're destroyed, they move back to their original matrix. They move back to their original state. Edwin Bryant's good here because he does give us a little bit more than that. He says that he quotes Vyasa and says that when the mind of the yogi has fulfilled its purpose, that is when the yogi has attained a permanent state of nirbija samadhi, so that deep state of meditative absorption that is not reliant on any seed. It dissolves into prakriti, back to the original state. Now, you remember the talk on Sankhya philosophy where there's purusha and there's prakriti. Prakriti is sort of the unmanifest reality that divides into ego and basically all the components of citta. Yoga is yoga citta vritti nirodha. Yoga is getting rid of the citta vrittis, and the vrittis being that whirlpool of the mind stuff. So the yoga is getting rid of all the whirlpools of the mind stuff, all that chattering, chirping that goes on, and that's getting rid of it. And the kleshas are part of that whole mind stuff thing, right? So the kleshas that we can really understand are raga, dvesha, and abhinivesha. That's the pleasure-seeking principle, the the pain-avoiding principle, and then the fear of death. Now, through practice, the kleshas, they become like burnt seeds. And so if you think about that, if you have seeds from any source, if you put them in water, they will sprout. That's the same with these kleshas, right? They can become burnt by the Kriya Yoga. Remember, that was the whole thing. Klesha tanu karanartascha. That idea that the kleshas, these afflictions, they sprout into like the raga, dvesha, and abhinivesha that we've been talking about for the last week and a half. If you burn the seed through the practice of Kriya Yoga, if you toast those seeds, then they don't sprout, or it's very, very unlikely that they sprout. And so that's the state that they're talking about here, and that's what this verse is all about. Okay, I think that about covers it. It's a little bit heavy in the philosophy side of things. Don't worry about it. Just know that, you know what, some of the rotten things that sprout in our world, if we take on practices with strong determination and with sincerity, then we're going to slowly roast these seeds that can sprout into affliction. All right, friends. Woo! Sometimes they're harder than others. That's all right. We can do hard things. Om, peace out.